Hey everyone, finished watching the next Golan the Insatiable episode, Dylan Crushes Reading. Dylan brings Golan to school for show and tell. Golan shows off his own autobiography and tells Dylan to read it for the class. Dylan struggles to read it and everyone laughs at her. Golan begins to laugh, but then yells that Dylan's illiteracy is unacceptable. Golan tries to get Dylan to learn to read by putting her head in a vice with books, thinking she'll absorb knowledge that way. Her parents have a more practical idea to send her to Tutor Town, a place where she can get some special extra schooling. Dylan is distracted by a goofy boy with a cast on one arm, Swingley. At home, she's teased for having a crush on Swingley. The next day, Golan locks Dylan in a metal box with a book, hoping she'll be forced to learn to read that way. She breaks out to find her parents set up a play date with her and Swingley. At a pizza place, she punches him, which makes them begin to like each other more. Golan crashes in and yells at Dylan that she's supposed to be learning how to read. Dylan runs away and Golan kidnaps Swingley. Golan sends a video message to Dylan warning that unless she can solve a series of clues by reading, he'll disembowel and disinfasten him. Dylan solves the first clue not by reading, but by smelling pizza grease on the note. She goes to the pizza place and Golan turns on some animatronic singing robot things. Dylan knocks the head off one, starting a fire. She finds a series of pathways marked danger and safety, but stubbornly refuses to read them, and ends up picking the dangerous paths. She finds a dead end and decides to finally try and sound out the word before her. It says duck. A battering ram falls, crashing through the wall, just as she's able to comprehend the word. She crawls through the wall and rescues Swingley. This is the final episode of Golan the Insatiable featured in the ADHD shorts. It feels like a finale with some of its bigger moments. There's so much going on in this one. At the show and tell in the beginning, we have the first instance of Mackenzie B being a bully to Dylan. She's the first to tease her for not being able to read. This is the last appearance of Richard, Dylan's father. In Season 2, there's several changes made, and Richard was unfortunately completely written out. They did allow for some different dynamics, and ultimately Richard wasn't a major character, but I think they could have done a few more things with him. And I'm kind of curious if the show had continued longer than 2 seasons, if maybe they would have brought him back eventually. Swingley has a unique design, and I like Swingley. He's a hypochondriac and can draw a map of the United States on his stomach from memory while holding his breath and other silly talents. He returns in Season 2, pretty much unchanged. This episode is also the first appearance of a funny romantic background song. There's a funny subtle joke in this episode when Dylan is going through Golan's booby-trapped paths. She refuses to read and says she'll just go to the right. And then she goes left. This is definitely up there with some of the best episodes. It's fast-paced and really funny. And I think this is another really good episode like Dear Uncle Gerald. So this is definitely a recommended episode if you want to check out this cartoon. I think Dear Uncle Gerald, this episode, and A Pox on Your Pox are definitely the stronger episodes of Season 1, and I definitely recommend checking out these ones if you're curious about the show. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Are you gonna punch me?
Yes, in the face.